Well, hey everyone, it is October the 27th on Read Through the Word. I'm Wendy Pope, and we are taking a look at the Olivet Discourse. Yes, I did not know that this passage of scripture was referred to as the Olivet Discourse, but it is these short verses are referred to this because Jesus gave this extended teaching while he was on the Mount of Olives. Isn't that interesting? There is a link on your notes for a deeper dive into this. But just to hit the highlights, the high spots, Jesus is speaking to Israel and Israel's future, not the church itself. And we are the church. And so he is not speaking to us. He is speaking to them. And he's telling them here to not be misled, that there's going to be counterfeiters. And he's speaking to their future. Now just hang in there with me. And he says that there'll be people that'll come to claim to be Messiah. And they don't need to be fooled. They need to be careful. Don't panic when you hear of war, he says. And don't be alarmed when you become mistreated. Because when you do, this is your opportunity to tell others about Jesus. I love that because he says in verse 11 of Mark 13, he said, but when you are arrested and stand trial, how is that for an encouraging word from your leader? You know, the other day, Jesus was talking about, it was in my teaching where you're going to have a cup of bitterness and you're going to have the baptism of suffering. Oh, that makes you want to run and be a Jesus follower, doesn't it? And then he just further stays in that lane and further talks about the fact that you're going to be arrested. And when that happens, and when you stand trial, it's not, the charges aren't going to be dropped. You're going into the courtroom here. But when you do, you're going to have an opportunity to talk about me. And don't worry about what you're going to say, because I'm going to tell you what to say. I will supply what you need to say. So he's saying, you know, all of these things are going to happen. And don't be surprised when someone says, there's the Messiah. Don't believe them. And I thought this was so interesting that he goes into this great detail in these 23 verses to talk about what is to come in their future. But he also has a lot to say about the future of the church. And much of it is the exact same. The warnings are the same. And he says it in multiple places. This discourse is in Mark and Matthew and Luke. But he speaks to us about our end times in John 14, 1 through 4, 1 Corinthians 15, 51 through 51 and 52, 1 Thessalonians 4, 3 through 18. And of course, there's that whole book at the end of the Bible that talks about the end times. And then I just put some of these verses that came to my mind. Oh, wait a minute. And a huge one, the book of Jude. The book of Jude, determined 2024 was on the entire book of Jude. If you're interested, take a look at that teaching. Go to wordupministries.org events, scroll down, and you can get the Bible study, the entire conference on that page. It's $50, and you get the whole teaching for for that conference. But the whole book of Jude is Jesus' son warning us, Jesus' brother, not son, excuse me, Jesus' brother warning about the end times. Paul says you should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be difficult times. In fact, I put a link there to 2 Timothy 3. There's a whole, just go read that. And then 1 John 2:18, children, in the last hour, it is the last hour. And as you have heard, that Antichrist is coming. So many Antichrists have come. Therefore, we know that it is the last in the last hour. It was the last hour then. I feel like we're closer. We're just kind of getting closer and closer and closer to the end of that hour. But the bottom line is, Israel was being warned to be alarmed and alert at what was coming ahead. We as the church have been warned to be alarmed and alert. And honestly, what I've been hearing more and more of the preachers that I've been listening to, my preacher included, my pastor included, is the fact that people just aren't taking this seriously. The church isn't taking it seriously. The church isn't changing. The church isn't taking the strong warnings that are around us, that it's closer now than it's ever been. And we need to be ready. And not only do we need to be ready, but we need to be telling people. We need to be alerting them. We need to be the watchman in the tower going, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Y'all take care. I'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.